Post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brillante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5. I'm Jordan Glass with your Pensacola Sports Update. For UWF Argos Baseball, we'll be hosting William Carey later on today at Jim Spooner Field. Also on today, women's basketball will be hosting West Georgia in the Open.
Run! Go! Get to the chopper!
Looking Gannon, throws up the middle, and intercepted at the 40, Derek Brooks 30, Brooks to the 29, he's getting Derek Brooks all the way, touchdown Tampa Bay, Derek Brooks, the dagger's in, we're going to win the Super Bowl.
Mother Watson is wearing a green jacket, and this time his name is Bubba.
Pitch on the way, Russell drives one in the air, deep left center, that's back near the wall, it's got a chance, grand slam, Addison Russell.
The new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
And Richardson breaks free on the sideline, end zone, how about that? Bama scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trick Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And these them Louisiana, Pensacola guys, they looking crazy and all that.
Morris, blocked by the tight end Paul. That opens up the door. Breaking the coverage tackle. To the pylon. Touchdown.
Really nice effort there by Alfred Morris, extending that ball over the goal line.
Near side ball, it's that big game. Doug Baldwin's got a first down. Doug Baldwin, 93 yards, now has back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons.
Reggie Evans, and he's going to get an ovation. Guy from Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome into the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. I am Chad Brillante. Glad to be with you here on this Thursday evening. A lot to get to on today's show. We're going to talk some college football with legendary Auburn coach Pat Dye. You never know what you're going to get with Coach Dye. Always fun. He was paying a toll one time on a horseback. And also one time I think he was shooting for dove in the middle of that. Now, that was a little scary. If you were driving that day, that might have freaked the bejesus out of you. But overall, it's always fun at 6 o'clock, and you never know what you're going to get from the legendary coach from the Auburn Tigers, and we're going to have some fun with him. Coming up here at 5:30. Don't you love how I reverse times to confuse the heck out of people? At 5:30, we're going to talk with Greg Litton, former Major Leaguer right there of the San Francisco Giants, going to break down some Major League Baseball. We're going to ask him about if the ball was juiced, because for a guy that hit a couple home runs in his career, but not these opposite fields, throwing your bat at the ball down by the dirt and finding a way to hit a home run, a little bit different. We're going to go pros versus Joes. What would you like from long drive to short game and more? And I'm still talking sports. Joining us now, as he always comes in at such a classic time on the show, Jordan Glass. Jordan, what's happening, my friend?
Not much, man. I tell you what, today's going to be a fun show. Pat Dye is going to be exciting, and curious to see what Greg says about juicing the baseball.
Yes, and you talk right now about the baseball in the game today, and one of the things when you look at it, it's something where if you're a baseball player, everything is about stats. That's the thing is, somebody said a long time ago, stats are like a bikini. They show some, but they don't show all. And the truth is, when it comes down to baseball, stats are everything that we look at. You might not watch baseball every single day. You might not go to the Wahoos game, but you sure as heck know when they say, now batting fourth, and he gets his music, dun, da, 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 and he gets up to the plate, and he steps in there. when you see up there 17 home runs in 16 games, 38 RBIs, batting 400, this guy's a beast. He might be on an 0 for 12 streak. Giancarlo Stanton, mighty Giancarlo, the MVP, the guy that was going for the record of what he said was, remember Roger Maris's 61, even though Barry was sitting there with a Macy's Day float type head. I'm like, dude, I hit 73. Just saying, letting you know here. You can have this asterisk all you want. My record still stands. But for the folks out there, Jordan, we only look at the stats in baseball. You only look at the ERA. You wake up right now and you look in the newspaper. Remember the old days where you had to look into the newspaper for the stat column in baseball, and they'd have every guy minimum of 250 appearances, and it would show every guy's stat. And we didn't understand that, stats can be very misleading because you can go out there and go 4 for 4 with 4 home runs and then go 0 for your next 20, and you still look like a power hitter. And that's the difference is when it comes to baseball, the stats mean everything for a game that doesn't want to change because of that. So if for any reason Major League Baseball came out and admitted that the ball was juiced a little, the reverse New England Patriots style, juice it instead of deflate it, hey, Jordan, it would ruin in a lot of people's mind the way we look at the game.
Oh, absolutely. We talked about that yesterday. And if they come out and they say, yeah, we're juicing the balls, first thing people are going to say is, why do you have a problem with the players juicing then? Like, if you're going to be okay with the balls being juiced, why can't the players be juiced for the exact same reason? It's just to get a competitive edge and for numbers.
Yes, it is. And looking right now at some of the other things going on in the world of sports, Dennis Rodman, well, he has been accused of burglary with $2,500 of clothing, art, and he also got some green hair dye in the middle of that. He found a way to score it in us. I'm not sure if that was stolen or just a bad look. But you know what? Dennis Rodman, it just added to the list. He's the only kind of guy that could hang out with Kim Jong-un and then come back to this country and do a nut commercial for pistachios, and everybody laughs. You know what I'm saying? It's Dennis Rodman. We know he's the kind of guy that's going to be an oddball. But putting burglary at a yoga studio after marrying Carmen Electra in his own bridal dress, this guy, I think he's done it all. I think he has now officially done it all, and that's in a way a compliment. But he was the best rebounder for his size. You ratio the size per capita kind of thing. He was the best rebounder, Jordan, of all time for his size.
I would agree with that.
He's on 6'8".
Yeah.
I mean, he led the NBA in rebounds, I think, 6 years. And most of the guys that lead the NBA in rebounds, 6'11", 250 at least. I mean, back in the day, you had your 7'4" huge guys, the Manute Bols, the George Mirasans. But, yeah, Dennis Rodman was a freak, and he was nasty. He was one of the bad boys, started in Detroit, helped Chicago, doubles, and was always a big part of the team overall. Well, the Tiger Slam. Now, that sounds like a cool move that you would use in wrestling. But Tiger Woods, he's won 1, and now he needs 3 more. He already completed his own Tiger Slam back about 4 years ago. Or not 4 years ago, about 14 years ago. You can tell it's been a long time. But Tiger Woods is now using his best clubs once again before midnight. And he's going out there and he wins the Masters. I saw a picture today, actually, 5 years ago. You know those Facebook page, they pop up those memories. Some are good, some are bad. One of them was like one that I created a guy that was like a raccoon / football coach with a saber sword when I was like 15. And they were like, this has been your classic memory from him. Like, man, what was I on that day? But at the same time, you look right now at this memory. 5 years ago, Bubba Watson, Pensacola, went right in, drove his car right up there before he had his sweet spot, and drove it right up to Osceola Golf Course on the driving range, Jordan. And it was our first interview there. The old ESPN had a chance to interview Bubba Watson and Paul Chestnut, Marty Stanovich, some of the guys. They were out there. And I remember sitting there on the green and interviewing that first one. And from that point on, think about his career. At that point, Bubba was good, but he had gone from then winning that first Masters, winning the second Masters, and then all of a sudden, a couple green jackets later, being a co-owner of the Wahoos, getting with Sandy Sansing on his great dealerships, everything he's done for Milton, donating hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. Children's Hospital. My daughter got to cut the ribbon right there, and what was always will be a special moment to me right there at the brand new Studer Children's Hospital. But when you look at it right now, Jordan, you got a guy like Bubba Watson. He's done about, and this isn't a knock on him, but he's done about 1/20th of what Tiger Woods has done in his career,
right.
And he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods, there's one guy that put $200 on Tiger Woods to win $10 million on a Tiger Slam. He's 1/4. He's 25% of the way through.
Yeah.
He's going to have a lot more cousins and uncles who know his name if he finds a way to win this.
You know what? The sad thing is, I don't think he will, though. I don't think he will.
I'm clearly not. I mean, for $200 to win $10 million,
yeah.
I don't think the odds are in his favor here.
I'm talking about for Tiger to win
yes.
because honestly, I think I agree with what your brother said earlier this week. That I think,
don't do that.
I think winning the Masters took a lot out of Tiger, so it's going to be interesting to see how he plays down the stretch in the remaining tournaments.
Looking right now, coming up tonight at 6:35, the Pensacola Blue Wahoos will be in action as they take on the Mississippi Braves. They'll be out there in Pearl, Mississippi, having some fun. We'll have that first pitch with Chris Garagiola at 6:35. Garagiola, hey, it's just another in there right there. I can do that. I'm Italian, but just butcher his name to make it sound like something like a cannoli right there. Chris Garagiola. Chris is first pitch 6:35. It should be fun. Wahoos continue to win, 22-11 now overall.
They do indeed. Yeah,
the Wahoolis. The Wahoolis.
The Wahoolis.
Hey, come on.
Forget about it. Forget about it.
Hitting a home run here. Come on. All right. NHL tonight. You got the Eastern Conference Finals. You got Carolina versus Boston. Should be wicked at 7 o'clock on NBC Sports. And then on the other side, you've got a situation where Toronto at Philadelphia. Now, Joel Embiid told Drake on the sidelines that he's coming back north of the border, come back for Game 7. I believe him, but it's not going to be easy. Kawhi Leonard's the best player on that court. I've come to the conclusion. Joel Embiid has got the most potential, but Kawhi Leonard's the best player right now on that court, and the ball's in his court if he wants to win, because he's proven that time after time in this series.
The ball's in his court, and I'll just say this. Enjoy it while he's there, Toronto, because he's probably not going to be there much longer.
No. And he's the worst interviewer ever.
He
really is. There's some guys that, they're like after hey, Kawhi, when you threw that ball in the third quarter, what pass? What pass you talking about? I'm like, I haven't finished my sentence. Like, all right, and then you drop that easy deuce inside and talking basketball. I'm like, Kawhi, you know what I'm talking about here.
Right.
I even showed you enough. But sometimes it gets to the point where his interview skills. Has there ever been a player? What would you rather? Popovich is, but Popovich's antics are fun at least.
Yeah, Popovich kind of has a little spurrier to him in the fact that he's going to mess with the media. He's going to say some things to mess with the media. I think if there's anybody else that's right there with Kawhi, you could throw Marshawn Lynch in there. Just sitting there. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
You saw the story today. Yes, he actually got it too. $20,000 in quarters to interview for the Alliance of American Football, and they gave it to him too. This is not $20,000 in quarters, and
the crazy thing is,
somebody
this guy.
paid it,
the crazy thing is, somebody paid it.
What's
That's
crazier?
crazy.
I was going to say him asking or somebody actually doing it.
This is all a ploy from him. He is a really smart guy.
He is, yeah.
And he is just screwing with people's heads by doing this stuff, whether it's I'm just here so I don't get fined or asking for $25,000 in quarters and then getting it. He's just messing with people.
Yeah. In his own life, without the camera in front of him, he's running like an Ashton Kutcher show.
Pretty much
his life is that.
Yeah.
His life is punking people. Have you ever seen that video with him and Bear Grylls in the woods?
Yes.
And they're like, okay, we got to go over here on the side and we got to catch this pig. He's like, I'm not catching that pig, man, unless that thing's on a double cheeseburger with bacon. That's not happening.
Nah, man, I get my bacon from the store.
I got some Skittles right here, man. Taste the rainbow right here. I don't need to actually go find that rainbow 20. No, he's a class. And like you said, some people, it's their demeanor, it's their mantra. But he is a lot smarter than he comes out.
Oh, yeah.
When he sort of just acts, he just says things once in a while that you're like, the way he dressed up. I mean, look, everything in life, everything in business, is how you present yourself, how you do that. When I had that fake mustache at the game for Anchorman night, there was a couple kids creeped out and they ran to their car. I would look like a guy. Think about it. If you're watching right now, I didn't mean to, but I almost just flicked the bird right there. But for the people watching on TV or watching right now on our YouTube stream, you go to ESPNpensacola945. You can also check it out right there on Facebook. But if I had a crustache right now, I like to call that for people that shouldn't have mustaches. If I had a crustache, I think that it would probably scare a lot of people.
Let's just get you some chocolate milk up here.
Yeah.
Can we get Chad some chocolate milk in the studio?
Some chocolate milk, everybody. Let's scream that. Milk was a bad choice. I did chug a whole thing of milk that day. Let's get to some more sports going on right now as we take a look. Kevin Durant, KD, it looks like is gone down with that calf strain. He's going to get a second opinion, getting some x-rays. Unlikely to play in Game 6, but, man, it always seems like this happens when the guy's just wheeling and dealing because this is the worst timing. He is the most important part. Steph Curry at one point was. Kevin Durant, though, by far right now, the way he's playing is the most important part for them winning this series.
He is, and especially with the way that he had to step up. You know, we talked about it when this series got started against Houston, that he was going to have to be the guy that stepped up and played really well because Steph was, you know, he had the banged-up hand. He wasn't exactly playing. You know, you had other players for the Golden State that were key benefactors that weren't really showing up. He had to step up. He did step up. Now it's on the other part of the team to step up and relieve him because, again, as you're talking about this calf strain, and it always seems to be like a calf strain with him. It's never, you know, it's always like a calf area. So maybe he needs to drink a little more chocolate
There
milk.
you go. Well, the New England Patriots have figured out how to they have found their goal, their booty right there in a tight end, and it is Ben Watson. They were able to get him. If you look at Ben Watson, this is a guy that he's retired about 6 times. He's pushing Brett Favre. But he was with the Saints. He's been reliable. I remember when he was a New England Patriot about 7 years ago, was very reliable at that time. I thought he would retire back in about 2008. But Ben Watson is now joining Tom Brady. So you have a 41-year-old quarterback throwing to a 38-year-old tight end.
Get him on like Kill Diet. He'll be fine. Yeah.
To me, 38-year-old as a tight end is more impressive than a 41-year-old quarterback.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's because you're not supposed to be running routes at that age.
You're not supposed to be
getting
firing out of a three-point stance with your knees at that age.
You're supposed to be calling Joe's Crab House for early appetizers at 5 at that point. Look, I'm only 4 years off from that. It's not like I'm an old man with a cane here at 38, but from a football standpoint, that's old. I mean, you should not be playing at 38 years old, but he's back. Look, he's going to fill in. They picked up Austin Sefrin Jenkins as well as Matt Lacassi and Steven Anderson. So what I'm saying here is they don't have a replacement yet for
They're just going to stack all three of those guys on top of each other, and that's going to
Andrew
be their
Beck.
replacement.
That sounds like a show that's going to come on Fox News. Look, none of those guys are replacing Gronk, but you can't just replace Gronk. You know those headlines, who's going to be the next Gronk? Nobody. We just hope somebody's reliable, and Tom Brady will make him look good. I guarantee that. Just like those suits used to wear. You're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it if you're around Tom Brady with deflated balls. Coming back for more right here in the Sports Drive.
Hey, this is Cole from Commander Air, and we're your local Daikin Comfort pros. Trust is hard to come by these days. At Commander Air, we have over 54 years of building and earning your trust. From each trained, certified technician to the state-of-the-art Daikin units we install, Daikin systems come with a trustworthy 12-year parts warranty. Commander Air has 3 generations of trust built on dependability, knowledge, and outstanding service. Come check out our new AC showroom at the intersection of Highway 29 and 9 Mile Road. Commander Air, your hometown heating and cooling specialist for 3 generations.
Springtime is almost here. It's the perfect time to tackle the next job on your list. And AutoZone has the free services to help you do it. With the AutoZone Rewards program, members get more, like a $20 reward every time you spend $20 or more 5 times. And right now, get 5 quarts of Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic or Full Synthetic High Mileage Motor Oil and an SEP Extended Life Oil Filter for $17.99 after a $15 AutoZone gift card by mail. Let us help you at more than 5,600 locations nationwide. See terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions and details in store.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Here are the ESPN Pensacola 94.5 contest rules. You can win 1 prize per household per contest in any 30-day period, unless specified by individual contest rules. All prizes on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 are non-transferable, non-redeemable in cash, nor exchangeable for any other prize. ESPN Pensacola 94.5 prizes must be redeemed within a 30-day period of winning, and you must be 18 years of age or older to win. For a complete list of rules, visit ESPNpensacola.com.
Little Caesars has done it again by giving you 1 large pizza piled high with 5 delicious meat toppings. Hot and ready every day between 4 and 8 p.m. for only $9. You heard me right. Count them.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Meat toppings, including pepperoni, sausage, bacon, beef, and ham. Order yours on our convenient mobile app or simply walk into Little Caesars and pick up your large hot and ready 5-meat feast for just $9 tonight.
Pizza. At participating locations plus tax. Canadian bacon will be substituted for ham in certain areas.
Florida, with its sunny weather and beautiful beaches, is a great place to walk and bike. Alert Today Florida encourages you to think beyond the driver's seat. Consider making a trip or 2 per week on foot or by bike. Active transportation like walking and biking can improve your health, reduce stress, and give you a few minutes to enjoy the sunshine. And here are a few tips to help you walk and bike safely. Remember, when walking, cross in the crosswalk and obey the pedestrian signals. And when riding, obey traffic laws and always ride in the direction of traffic, because safety doesn't happen by accident.
At Indeed, we believe a resume is a great way to see an overview of a candidate, but you're not hiring a resume, you're hiring a person. That's why Indeed offers tools that help bridge the gap between a candidate and the resume, like skill tests, which let you actually see a candidate's abilities in action to make sure they're a good fit for the job. See beyond the resume with Indeed. Experience Indeed for yourself today and get a free sponsored job upgrade on your first posting at Indeed.com/promo. Terms and conditions apply.
And welcome back to the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Having some fun with you here on this Thursday evening. Coming up on the show, we're going to talk to former Major Leaguer for the San Francisco Giants, Greg Litton. And we'll also get to more coming up here at 6 o'clock with our good friend Pat Dye. Things that we should not forget in 2018. I know we're already 5 months in, but things that have we moved on? During football, it's all one big season, right? We're just counting down the days until we get Clemson and Alabama or maybe Georgia back in a national title. That's how it works right now. But things that we should not forget, Jordan, we're moving on here. Let's get to this. Cleveland happy about Baker Mayfield. Now, we wrote these down. Jordan and I wrote these down collectively. In spirit, I wrote them down.
Yeah.
But what we've done is we did this back on January 1st of 2018. And we come back and we look at some of the stories of have we forgotten, have we moved on, or have they exploded into something that's blown everybody's brain. Cleveland happy about Baker Mayfield. This has definitely taken a next step in things we should not forget in 2018.
Yeah, and I think we still remember this one. I think this one's still prominent because here's the thing is Baker Mayfield is bringing a level of optimism to this Cleveland Browns team. And speaking of this Cleveland Browns team, earlier today on Talk Football, we were going over a top 10 offenses in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland was one of the top 10 teams because of a guy like Baker Mayfield and the other weapons that they brought in offensively. So I think it's still something that's very prominent and something we remember.
All right, moving on here to our next one. How about Nick Foles' Super Bowl magic?
I'm going to say we're over that one because now it's Nick Foles. What will he do for the Jaguars?
Moving on from that, I think so as well. Now, after what we saw with the situation with Omaha Beach and then getting robbed from the situation, Country House winning 65-1 odds, but didn't really win it with maximum security. How about Justify winning the Triple Crown?
I'm going to say we're moved on from that because of the whole controversy that we had last weekend.
All right. One beating a 16 in college hoops now that Virginia has won the title.
Yeah,
we moved on from their reverse of going, I can't believe they lost to Maryland, Baltimore County, dude.
Yeah, I was going to say that one team that got knocked out by the 16 team turned around and won the national title the next year.
So that's a pretty good way.
Yeah, we're over that.
That's a pretty good way to end it right there. You know what I'm saying?
If you look at them and go, bro, you remember what happened to you in 2019? They just hold their ring up and go, you remember what happened in 2019?
What they just did was, it's like the guy coming home to his wife and said, honey, I lost my job, but I stopped at a convenience store and I scratched off a $20 Guy Harvey scratch off and I just won $1 million.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my gosh, that's what Virginia did. They went
was
from
getting ready to call a divorce attorney.
She's on the phone.
Okay.
She's like, you son of a, wow, right. So can I still get that car in purple? Like, if they make it in that color, it's not coming to my house. But if anyone ever starts that, can I get a car in purple? Just keep walking. Let's move on here to the next. How about legalizing a sports betting? This happened in 2018, right there at the end. Have we moved on from now that it's just wide open? I don't think so here, and I'm going to say that because Florida still doesn't have it. And I think we make, look, we got the Beau Rivage, IP Casino, a lot of great sponsors. But still having to go out to Biloxi, still a 2.5-hour trip, when a lot of people felt, you can go out to the beach, have some fun, and go check in where you're at the Tiki Bar, one of those places, walk on down, plop a bet on one of those games, and watch it. But we don't have that luxury here in the state of Florida. There's always a good Uncle Tony or two, but we don't have that luxury or we're giving our money offshore to Aruba, to somebody that's like a dot. When you see those dot places like AG, that means Argentina. That does not mean your money is coming here. At this point, I think you realize that, I don't think it's ever going to go away until it changes across the country. We have certain states that have taken it, but not overall. So I'm going to go no on that.
I'm going to agree with you for that exact reason. Until every state has it, it's still going to be an issue.
All right, things we should not forget from 2018. We always go back, and each week we take a look at what we wrote down originally. It's like the diary of sports here. Now we're taking a look. Gritty, the Philadelphia mascot. Are we over his nonsense?
I wish we were, but unfortunately he just keeps popping up. So no, it's like a bad dream that just reoccurs.
You think? Look, you got Boston tonight. Boston hates Philly fans. We don't get along. The Flyers and the Bruins don't get along. But do you think if the Bruins tonight against Carolina, you had Gritty out there, would they at least allow him on the ice for the kids and stuff?
I would hope not, unless they're trying to purposely scare and scar the kids.
Well, maybe what if they had him right in front of the Carolina Hurricanes locker room, like right before? All right, let's just represent your Hurricanes out of the
just standing there, just going. That would do it.
100-mile-per-hour puck can't stop him, but Gritty. That was the worst mascot choice. Somebody passed that. That's the funny part. We laugh, but somebody looked over a bunch of sheets.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I like that design. Yeah.
Well, this one right here, it's a flyer. This is like a beautiful jet right here. I like this. Okay. Oh, that one's cool. It's like a soaring bird with a cool. This one looks like somebody just. Yep. Some kid threw up. Grit, let's go with that one right there. Let's go with Gritty right there. It looks like orange throw up. Let's go ahead and make that. All right, things we should not forget. Bama and Tua in the situation of what went on in the game where Jalen Hurts came in and saved them, but then they lost to Clemson. Remember, this was 2018. 2019 came around, and then he lost to Clemson. So things we should not forget. Have we forgotten Jalen Hurts' magic coming in and winning that against Georgia?
I think we have, because I personally...
Because they didn't win it all.
Yeah,
because
I'm looking at Tua this year for Alabama, and I'm not entirely sure he's going to be the same quarterback we saw last year. So I'm still kind of on the fence about his productivity for Alabama this year, but we'll see.
How about this one right here? And this one under the radar. But how about that bowl game getting canceled? I think we're all over it, but I mean, nobody really cared about that bowl game. I just want to get that off my chest. Coaches in new places. Have we moved on from the situation of Dan Mullen, Willie Taggart, and then Josh Heupel? They all had their own story last year, but have we moved on? Or are they still new faces in Florida, or at this point they're writing their own scripts?
Well, I think with Dan Mullen, he was never a new face. I think with Willie Taggart, he was never a new face because he was at South Florida.
He was a face on a couple dartboards by the end of the year.
He was definitely that. But no, I think especially as far as the state of Florida goes, we're now Manny Diaz at Miami. So yeah, I think we've moved on from those. How
about Josh Heupel? How about that guy? An undefeated regular season in his first year.
Yeah, he's able to keep up. Takes over Scott Frost's class and keeps up the productivity. So we'll see if that happens. If they're still going undefeated 2 years from now, I'll give him some credit. But right now, he's still got Scott Frost's
pretty
players.
Cool. Here's another one. This has been a little bit in the making, but have we moved on from the NFL protests? I hope, but you think we have? Because there's still people that are out there. There's still good people. Good, not like I'm done with the NFL. Those people that come out and you're like, I didn't ask you to talk to me, sir. Like, where did this come from? I'm trying to enjoy a meal at a restaurant with my family, and this guy just comes up to me, But at sees the name Judge coming at you. But at the same time, I think that it's still lingering, and people have given up, and that's your own right. Nobody should be like, shame on you for not spending your Sundays with your family or at church, but you're not watching football. How dare you? Like, no, that's not what anyone said. But at the same time, you can make your own choices. If you're done with the NFL because of the protests, we might never get back a lot of the fans. At the same time, I think most collectively, we've moved on.
I think not only have we moved on, but we've moved on, and those fans that said, I'm done with the NFL are back watching the NFL. So, we've had one full season without any kind of controversy. So, we've moved on.
Well, more than anything in radio or broadcasting, your biggest adversaries are your biggest fans. And what I mean is they're the ones listening the most to find out what stupid thing you say next. Yeah. So for somebody that is an adversary of mine out there listening to this show, you've got a tough job, because if you're counting every stupid thing I say, dude, I'll get you a bigger book. I'll get you a thick notebook so you can have fun with it. When we come back, we're going to talk with Greg Litton, former major leaguer of the San Francisco Giants. He'll join us to break down some more. A lot of Major League Baseball games in action today. Your classic finish in 5, where the team doesn't have any choice but to take a loss. That happened to the White Sox. The good news was they were down 5-0, so they're probably going to lose anyway on the road to the Indians. We're coming back for more right here on the Sports Drive.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5. I'm Jordan Glass with your Pensacola Sports Update. For your UWF Argos, softball will get the NCAA tournament started in the South Region later on this afternoon. They'll be taking on Spring Hill College. For baseball, they'll get the NCAA tournament started on May 16th. They'll also be in the South Region. Still no word on who they'll be playing, but the minute we find out, we'll let you know right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. As far as your Blue Wahoos, they had a very early 10:35 start to their game on Wednesday, as it was a school game there in Mississippi against the Mississippi Braves, and the Blue Wahoos come out victorious by a final score of 1-0. Coming up next for the Wahoos, it is Game 4 of the 5-game series. It's coming up later on tonight at 6:35. Chris Garagiola will have the call right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. The next time they'll be at home at the friendly confines of Blue Wahoo Stadium, it's coming up May 16th. They'll get started in a 5-game series against the Mobile Bay Bears. I'm Jordan Glass with your Pensacola Sports Update on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5 is accepting applications for employment. Periodically, we have openings in sales, business, news, promotions, engineering, production, and programming. We'll keep your application for consideration when such an opening occurs. We also provide internships to qualified students. Apply online at ESPNpensacola.com or at our studios at 7251 Plantation Road behind University Town Plaza on Davis Highway between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. ADX Communications is an equal opportunity employer.
ESPN Pensacola has you covered from the national and local levels. From Golic and Wingo to the Sports Drive, the Paul Feinbaum Show to Talk Football with Coach K, we have it all. It's the latest and best in sports talk radio, making us Pensacola's hometown sports network. ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on HD Radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming online at our website at ESPNpensacola.com.
Experienced truck drivers. Are you looking for a better work-life balance? At Schneider, the options are endless because you can choose from 38 types of driving jobs, from regional to local, from OTR to intermodal, from dedicated to LTL, and more. Personalize your driving career to fit your lifestyle. Along with all of the different types of driving jobs, you can also pick from over 50 different dedicated accounts. Learn more about all of the options for drivers, and then you decide. Find it all at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
Our Pensacola Wahoos are back for another season, and with the new season comes some fresh and new changes. Our Wahoos are now the new AA affiliate of the Minnesota Twins, and they have a new broadcast home here in Pensacola, right here at your hometown station for hometown sports, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos action from home and away with Chris Garagiola. Wahoos baseball presented by Denny's on the new official flagship station for the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and ESPNpensacola.com.
Springtime is almost here. It's the perfect time to tackle the next job on your list. And AutoZone has the free services to help you do it. With the AutoZone Rewards program, members get more, like a $20 reward every time you spend $20 or more 5 times. And right now, get 5 quarts of Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic or Full Synthetic High Mileage Motor Oil and an STP Extended Life Oil Filter for $17.99 after a $15 AutoZone gift card by mail. Let us help you at more than 5,600 locations nationwide. See terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions and details in store.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
ESPN Radio is taking over ESPN News. You can now watch your favorite radio shows all in one place. From Golic and Wingo. Oh, yeah. To the Dan Levitard Show with Stugotz.
All right, I'm available every day, thanks.
To the Stephen A. Smith Show.
I just don't understand this guy.
To the Will Kane Show.
It's my job to tell the truth.
From morning to night, the best of ESPN Radio is now available on ESPN News.
And welcome back to the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. Chad Brillante with you here, having some fun with you. Coming up 6:35 tonight, first pitch, it'll be the Pensacola Blue Wahoos in action as they take on the Mississippi Braves out there. We used to tomahawk chop, but not when they're taking on the Wahoos. And joining us now, a guy that used to crush Braves pitching, Greg Maddox and Tom Glavine, used to be some guys that would go out there and dominate. But for this guy, not so much. And we'll be joined by Greg Litton coming up here in a few minutes from now, as Greg will come on to talk a little Major League Baseball and more. 850-972-1945 is the number to be part of the show. That's 850-972-1945. 194.5, the number to be part of the show if you weigh in. Things we should not forget from the overall 2018-2019 season moving forward. Things that you want to see get changed. Maybe you're a Florida State fan and you feel like it's going to change for the best. Or moving on to talking about the situation with what was going on with the protests. Maybe there's something on your mind, and you can weigh in to the show. 972-1945 is that number. Some of the other things going on right now in the world of sport, it looks like Kevin Durant is not expected to be able to play, and he's going to miss, it looks like, at least Game 6 and could be out until Game 7. So we're going to keep an eye on it. But without Kevin Durant, remember last year, this could be the reverse of what happened with Houston and Golden State last year. Remember last year you had a situation where Chris Paul got hurt with a hammy injury in Game 6 when it looked like Houston was going to upset him, and then Kevin Durant and the Golden State Warriors go on to win. Durant drills that 30-plus foot just moonstroke right there, and they go on to win. This year it could be different. Golden State has a 3-2 lead, but without Durant, it could be over. We're going to see, but at this point, it doesn't look like he's doubtful for Game 6, and we'll see about Game 7, but he's going to be reevaluated for the game. Game 7 would be Sunday at 3 o'clock in that one. Joining us now to talk some Major League Baseball is former Major Leaguer from the San Francisco Giants and our good friend Greg Litton. Greg, what's happening, my friend?
Chad, what's going on, man?
Man, just enjoying another day in I guess, overcast paradise, you know?
Yeah, just a little cloudy this afternoon.
Well, talking right now about cloudy, I guess, is a lot of people's viewpoint on whether or not the baseball is juice. Now, Dallas Keuchel has made it clear he believes it is, and John Lester came out and said, well, it is, but I want baseball to admit it. Greg, look, there's a lot. I know you're already laughing because if any league is not going to come out there and has a reason not to just say, oh, absolutely, baseball's juice, let's take all those records and everything and scratch them because of our stupidity. Greg, they're never going to admit, even if it is.
No, of course not. And I don't know, over the years, there's been several times where this has been an issue or thought that was the case, and I really don't think it's anything intentional, to be honest with you. I don't think the owners are that smart, to be honest with you. But I think it's just a case of, you know, they built a whole new facility factory where they build the balls, and I think they're just making with time, just like everything. Everything's getting a little bit better. They're building, you know, they're stringing them maybe a little tighter, maybe the yarn's a little tight, the leather's a little harder maybe, but I don't think it's anything intentional.
Greg, when you look at baseball, it's a game of superstition. And it's one that some are realistic. Others, like guys who haven't washed their jersey for a week and a half, that's just rude to everybody else on the team. But when it comes down to baseball, you were in a lot of locker rooms, a lot of clubhouses. Was there ever the most over-the-top superstition that you ever saw?
I'll be honest. Most of the superstitions that I heard, you know, stuff like Wade Boggs eating chicken every day and all that kind of stuff, were on other teams.
But don't most of us eat chicken every day, if you think about it? I mean,
well, it tastes like chicken. But I think most of us, though, Chad, were just, you know, it was little things. I remember if I went and had lunch and ate at TGI Fridays or something and got 3 hits that night, well, there was a real good chance I was going to eat at TGI Fridays again the next day. And if I got 2 to 3 hits every day, I'd still be eating there. But I don't really remember, you know, it wasn't like the movie Major League, but we all had our little things. You might use somebody's bat or something, but I don't really remember too many outlandish superstitions.
Greg, looking right now, we're already over a month into the season, and a lot of teams are trying to take that next push. Look, at the beginning of the year, we thought the Seattle Mariners were the greatest thing, and the Red Sox were out. 2 weeks later, everything sort of has come back to fruition as we expected. But when it comes to baseball, what you've seen in the early part of the season, are there any big surprises to you, or are there any teams that you believe now that you've seen play enough that they're going to stay around? One to me, and it's because of their youthful pitching. And I don't know if they win the World Series or even make the postseason because it's tough when you're playing with the Red Sox and Yankees in your own division. But the Tampa Bay Rays are a good baseball team, and they're fun to watch.
Well, I agree. That's the first team that came to my mind when you started saying that was Tampa Bay. And I think we've talked about this a million times, but every year in baseball, a team like Tampa comes out of the woodworks. They don't really belong. They don't have all the superstars, the big salary, the big payroll, but they just get on a roll. They get hot. And, baseball, look, if you're playing in major leagues, any of these teams can beat any of the rest. I don't care. They may not have the pitching depth, barring some injuries or something like that. But when a team gets hot and believes they can win, they can beat anybody. And there's no reason Tampa can't keep this up. Look at the Braves last year. I mean, every year a team does this, and I think Tampa's the one that, that could squeeze in there and be that team this year.
All right, let's get to a little Major League Baseball Q&A. Some of this is going to blow your mind. Some is going to make people that are listening in old school feel very disappointed about the type of money some of these guys made. Babe Ruth, his top salary, true or false, Greg, his top salary was worth less than Mike Trout's second at-bat in the game here today.
Easily less.
Mike Trout made more in one at-bat than what Babe Ruth made in 1930. That is pretty sad. And he was the Sultan of SWAT, too, and he got his own candy bar. Does his family get any repercussions for the Babe Ruth?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But even the Babe said he got paid more than the president, though, so he wasn't complaining.
That's pretty sad right there. Antonio Bastardo made more in 2 innings worth of work. That I don't even want to go there. Looking right now, during World War II, the U.S. military designed a grenade to be the size and weight of a baseball, since any young American should be able to properly throw it. Is that true or false?
I'd say that's false.
That's true, actually. That's, God bless it right there. They were teaching baseball at an early age, and also to throw it right through a home and blow it up. So there you go.
All the grenades they always showed, they never threw them like we did baseballs. That would be a great invention, because I know I played with some guys. I could throw it. I had a pretty good arm. But I played with some guys like Mark Whitten and Corey Snyder that could probably throw that son of a gun 150 yards. That'd be a nice toss with a grenade.
That is that would be a really good grenade toss right there. Ralph Kiner is the only player, true or false, ever to lead the league in homers for 7 straight years, and he did it his first 7 years in the majors.
Well, that sounds It sounds like it can't be true, so it must be true.
That is correct. It is true right there. Turk Wendell, the former Chicago Cubs closer. Remember Turk?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. He wore 16 different jungle cat teeth around his neck that he had collected from different safaris because it brought him good luck and good mojo.
Wow, that sounds crazy enough to be true, too, so I'll just go with true.
That is false. It was only 7 jungle cats. but it is true. He did wear for the different. I sort of miss that. They've cleaned up the act a little, but some of the guys that had really ridiculous outfits like that with the big gold chains, they've cleaned up on the gold chains pretty. Not as bad. That Luke Voigt guy for New York looks like he's got one more button down and he's going to the beach. But there's some guys back in the day. The chains have definitely calmed down in the game today, it seems.
Well, that was a little bit after my time, because back in my day, we had, they've always had rules on uniform. You're supposed to show a certain 2 inches or something of your stirrups. Your shirts had to be tucked in, everything. And I just like that old school baseball. I get into arguments a lot with young players about all the new school, the home runs, the strikeouts, and everybody wants to credit the pitchers throwing 98 miles an hour. I'm like, Yeah, so they're hitting more home runs now that pitchers are throwing harder and all the nasty stuff, but they can't put the ball in play. And I'm like, I just don't buy it. I like the old school. And somebody asked me today, or mentioned, would be if somebody wins the World Series, playing old school, maybe it'll change. And I'm like, well, Kansas City did it a couple of years ago. My Giants did it 3 years. Three of the last probably 9 or 10 now. I mean, it's been a few years now since they've won, but they won 3 World Series and didn't have a bona fide home run hitter on the team. So I still think the old school baseball may not be popular with the kids these days, but I think it's still the best way to play baseball, and it'll come back around.
Well, it definitely will, and those teams prove it. I think a little balance of both. I'm watching the Marlins today, and they're taking on the Cubs, and they lose a game 4-1, and really it was 2 pitches. Anthony Rizzo and Chris Bryant just jacked 2 bombs, and that was it. Outside of that, the Marlins would load it up with singles, and they could never get the one guy to hit the big hit. So a balance. You need the home run hitters to change a game, but you also need those guys to consistently get on base so the home run hitters can get you back in a game. And I think that the small ball, I still laugh at people that don't bunt it down the line when there's a wide open base. Somebody just needs to come out with a seminar and a class of getting. It's going to call Major League Baseball, and what it is it's just we're going to get a bunch of lefty sluggers like the guys like Lyle Overbays that clearly just pull every single hit, and then we're just going to make them every day. All we're going to work in practice is slapping bunts down third baseline, and we're going to end up winning every game because we're always going to have somebody on base because it's fooled the world.
Well, you'll win every game for about a week, and then they'll quit putting the shift on. And it's so funny is I keep hearing all these things, and if you're a bad enough hitter, and I know that there are certain situations, there are times when you don't want your slugger bunting the ball. You're down by 1 run in the 9th inning, and there's nobody on base, 1 out. Getting your slugger on first, all that does is clog the bases sometimes. But if you fall behind in the count or something, there's nothing wrong with slapping the ball, getting on base. When runners get on base, that does a couple things. It puts more pressure. It gets the pitcher out of the windup. It gets into a stretch. It puts more pressure on the infielders. Now even the outfielders, you hit a ball in the gap, they got to try and cut it off. There's so many things that just having runners on does to the other team. It also makes the pitcher throw more pitches, and that gets into somebody's bullpen, and somebody goes, well, now with the bullpens, you don't want that. Well, you may not want it the first game or 2 of a series, but if you can do that for the first 2 games, those next 2 games, I promise you, they're going to be a little reluctant to get to that bullpen, and it has an effect, and it can change 20, 30 games of a season, and you just don't see much of that anymore.
Speaking with former Major Leaguer and friend of the program, Greg Litton. Greg, now I want to ask you this question because you've been in both. You've been a Major Leaguer that's been there in the World Series with the Giants, also a guy that had a chance to run for politics, be in politics around, a lot about anything going on. Actually, I get half of what's going on in politics either from our folks at News Radio WEBY here or your Facebook post. But looking right now at what's going on when it comes to the Red Sox, they went and they visited today and were honored by President Donald Trump at the White House after winning the World Series. Alex Cora, the team's manager, did not attend because he is very frustrated with the efforts to Puerto Rico and after the devastation to the hurricane. About a dozen members of the team as well did not follow. What do you make of this? And are we going to go down a path where sports and the presidency? What can we do about this to change it? Because as a sports fan and as somebody that is honors and loves this country to death, it hurts me, especially as a Bostonian, to watch only half of our team show up and be at the White House over something that I feel like we could put our grievances for one day behind each other and honor the team. Because that's really what you're doing. You're honoring your team in front of the country in the most important building right there for our country.
Well, and Chad, I don't know why, and haven't heard, to be honest with you, really don't care why all 12 didn't go. But the simple fact is Alex Cora really is not going because of his own ignorance. If he wants to look to the problem with Puerto Rico, he needs to look at his own country and their own leadership. We have given them so much money to recover from this. There's been all kind of articles and proof and evidence that they've wasted it, water and not refreshments, but water and food and stuff sitting on tarmacs in warehouses, not being distributed. And, the bottom line is, educate yourself, go to the White House. Heck, he had a chance to talk to Trump about it if he wanted to. But, staying home and protesting something that really is that he's just flat wrong about, I think is extremely silly. And, but on the flip side also, I think you just go, enjoy the day, celebrate what you guys did, and leave the politics to the politicians.
One good thing I like about this story is it seems like about not half of it, but over a dozen players decided not to go, and over 20 players said yes. Now, I like that because there's been a number of teams, the Golden State Warriors and others, that I'm sure there was players on that team that wanted to go, but collectively, and I'm putting this in air quotes, decided not to. And to me, for the other 20 people to say, no, this is a chance of a lifetime. Are you kidding me? Like, I get to go to the White House and be represented by my team for winning a championship. That's an honor. For them to step up, the other guys, and do that, to me, that's a great feeling.
Oh, I agree. And I think, it's a shame because, you won the World Series as a team, and then you're going to split up and do this as individuals. And just like you said, you choose not to go, just shut your mouth and don't go, and don't make it a big deal if you don't want to go. But I love the fact that the rest of them said, you know what, I'm going to enjoy and celebrate what we did, and you can stay home if you want.
Absolutely. Well, Greg, it's always great catching up with you. I hope everything's going well, and we'll talk to you again here soon as the baseball season continues to heat up.
Always a pleasure, Chad. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate it. Greg Litton, former major leaguer with the San Francisco Giants, and also he ran for Escambia County Commissioner for District 2 right there, knows a thing or two about politics. I always joked with him, what was harder, Jordan, going out there and batting 300 with about a 29-pounder, old Louisville Slugger bat, or putting in about 500 different 2x4s into the ground for his Greg Litton signs all over town. And he said, Lord knows that those 2x4s kicked his butt, but he could hit a 90-mile-per-hour fastball. That's not easy. Those signs just don't go overnight. Those people that are campaigning, I'll tell you what, the ones that, and some of them clearly know they're not winning, like the Green Party ones that get out there on the sign, they spend some time out there waving at kids and things like that. Just saying, they put their time and effort in it. Even if you have not won in politics, good for you for being out there on this side of it. You've probably been hit by some eggs. Somebody got hit. I saw a guy in the corner of 12th and Bayou got hit right there by a sack of McDonald's straight to the face and continued to wave at people. I do not remember because I was laughing, but I did not laugh at you. I was laughing at the circumstances. But I'm telling you what, Jordan, to this day, I always told you, dude, you should have never thrown my fries. We're coming back for more right here in the Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
At Merrick, we know dogs are in charge. So our dog foods start with deboned meat, poultry, or fish, and Sorry. Coming!
Here's your ducky.
And because real whole foods are better for your dog, each Merrick recipe is packed with whole fruits and vegetables. Excuse me.
You want to go out right now? Okay.
Dogs are in charge. Serve them well. Merrick.
Now available at PetSmart.
Remember those summer adventures as a kid? On two wheels. Cutting loose with your buddies, enjoying freedom of an endless summer night. Make new memories this summer at Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. Owning a Harley is easier and affordable than ever. Check out Harley-Davidson of Pensacola's Red Tag Sales Event. Drastic reductions on pre-owned inventory. For Mother's Day, mamas receive fresh flowers. Discover your inner child again with the freedom that owning a Harley brings. Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. Let's ride.
Ted here, dialing in from Denver.
Kenzie and the Chicago team dialing in.
Okay, let's get started.
Ted's in charge of this project. He's a total goober. And what's with the haircut?
Guys, can definitely hear you. Like, really good reception.
Conference call's no-brainer? The mute button. Barbasol's no-brainer. Finally making razors to go along with America's favorite shaving cream. Try Barbasol's Ultra 6 Plus razor with 6 ultra-thin blades for a close, comfortable shave.
Barbasol.
Sports Call with Jordan Glass.
A guy like Kyler Murray, great athlete, yes. We talked about it before. Great athlete. Got a lot of talent. Because of his size, I just see that being something that hurts him inside the NFL.
Then Davis Allens.
It's so much harder to be successful in the NFL, but is it beneficial for you in the long run?
Every Saturday morning on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
At Indeed, we understand that when it comes to hiring, it's important to have a large talent pool to choose from. But sometimes too many good options can be overwhelming. That's why Indeed doesn't just give you access to a large pool of job seekers. We also offer screener tools that let you instantly narrow down your search. Hone in on hiring with Indeed. Experience Indeed for yourself today and get a free sponsored job upgrade on your first posting at Indeed.com/promo. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
And welcome back to the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Thanks for watching us. You can tune in as well on our Facebook page at ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Also, right there on our YouTube page, check us out, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. And it's always fun to be part of the show at 972-1945 is that number. 972-1945 is our studio hotline to be part of the show and weigh in on anything going on. Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, has wanting half of the referees in the NBA to be women. Now, to me, that's such an idiotic statement. You know what? And I like Adam Silver a ton. And I don't want to say this because Adam Silver has done a great job. He sort of looks like Nosferatu, you know, the guy that looks out there. He does. He looks like a vampire, like coming quietly floating on air, is about to, like, you know, do something like breathe on your kid's neck and like he looks like that guy. Just picture Adam Silver if you know the NBA commissioner. But the difference is, Jordan, the one thing about him is that is such a broad statement. Why can't it be, hey, if they're qualified enough, we don't mind if half the NBA referees are women? That's how it should be stated. That, to me, I hate. Same thing with the Rooney Rule, anything. I understand we don't live in a society where, as our good friend Jack Nicholson would say, why can't we all just get along? We don't live. That's not true. That's not reality. The difference, though, is when you talk right now to a lot of people, it shouldn't be about, well, you have to hire a black coach just because it would make us look. Why can't you hire the best coach? And if two coaches, you look at their resumes, and that's what it should be. I know that's not a perfect world. I know that's not the one we're in. But for Silver to say, I want half our referees to be female, I don't care if they're female. I don't care if it's a puppy dog.
Make the right calls.
Make the right calls. And so far, I'll tell you what, the ones that are the old 20-year-old tenured guys, like Tony Brothers and some of those guys, they're not making the right calls. Dick Pavettas, Jerry Crawfords, they finally went adios. But the referees that have been around the game for 25 years, they're not doing a great job. Scott Fosters of the world. So guess what? Time to move somebody else in. I think the NBA refs are horrible, frankly, compared to every other league. I watch hockey games, and these guys are getting out of the way of 90-mile-per-hour pucks and making good calls. And once in a while, they get booed for waving off a goal where they're usually right, but everybody just wants to boo them because they took away a home goal. NBA refs, they've got a tough job because everybody's flopping, everybody's throwing their hands up in the air, and like they don't care, like James Harden. But at the same time, they're not that good at their job. And I've watched enough NBA games, and Tim Donaghy called people out for cheating, and they still went, shh, 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 shh. I believe Adam Silver wants to do the right thing for the league. I think he's done a great job as the commissioner. But to say I want half of the new NBA refs to be women. And I know that's a bold statement kind of thing. But to me, I just want half of the NBA refs to get it right. That should be the call that they're really making.
Yeah, and look, here's the thing, and I have to tread lightly when I say this because I don't want to offend anybody, and this is probably going to sound a lot worse than I mean it. There's a fine line between progress and shoving stuff down people's throats.
Yeah.
There's one thing to actually have female refs in the NBA. That's progress. But saying we want half of them to be females, that's overkill. Let's ease into it, and then who knows? 5 years down the road, once you ease into it, 75% of the officials in the NBA are female officials.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that doesn't mean that the number can't continue to rise throughout the years, but let's start off smaller and build up to it. And I just like I said, there's a fine line between progress and shoving stuff down people's throats. And I'm all for there being female officials in the NBA, but I think coming out and making the statement right off the bat that 50% of them are going to be female, let's back off just a little bit on that number. Maybe start with 25. And then kind of move up.
Yeah, and I think at this point, when you look at a lot of the NBA referees, I always want to say, man, I think that we're smart enough as a society, but then you sort of retract that statement. We're not. A lot of people are stupid. But the thing is, I'm telling you, when you look at a lot of the NBA referees, it's not just me. If you're watching the game tonight with Philadelphia and Toronto, and you might not be an NBA fan. Look, we're not. This is not the biggest NBA area, and we're sitting here. If somebody's saying, well, you need to be talking college football, listen, we're sitting here on May 9th. We will talk college football all throughout the season. We do talk college football. We talked about it today. But I'm not going to give you – Paul Feinbaum is on all day long for an opportunity to talk about things. I heard him talking about Raccoon getting the AC vent over there in Tuscaloosa today. Look, Paul Feinbaum does a great job, and it's one of the reasons, as a sports director here when we were building this station, I wanted Paul Feinbaum 2 to 5 every single day.
Right.
But at the same time, we're not going to sit here and I'm not going to talk about the 2020 recruiting class. That's not what we do on this show. I will dabble into the NBA, but I understand that it's not king in this area. But when a story like this comes up, it's not just about the NBA. It's more about sports. And one of the things that I want to say about this is you're exactly right, though, Jordan. It's why don't we make some progress? And I don't care about the NBA refs or anything like that. But, when it comes down to it, it should – I feel like if you can't watch the product in the NBA today and say, man, they're doing a great job with the refs.
They're not.
They're not.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it shouldn't take you long to watch a female or a male or a donkey or a cat or a dog or a goldfish. That would be really tough to ref.
They do better than some of the
roll
ones
the
we
tank
have,
around there right there. But if that's happening right here, it shouldn't take you long to watch a guy for about 15 minutes reffing and saying, man, this guy's getting the calls right. He's consistent. He's coming in. He's making the charge when it's the right call. He waits. He doesn't go to the this whole monitor thing every 5 seconds is stupid. I mean, come on, guy. This is ridiculous. So at this point, let's just try to get to a point where we can use common sense again. And I think that's what we need. That's the path that we need to go down.
So I got a question with the fish official. When you were talking about making a fish an official, this is traveling. Would it just be this?
The goldfish on the tank, you're pushing her. That would be. The goldfish is the one to make the money. The guy pushing the tank gets nothing. Welcome to society. I wonder, are there you brought up a good point of something we're going to get way off topic before Pat Dye here.
Let's do it.
How do you get a job in being an agent for those animals in Hollywood?
I think
that's a job. That is a job out there.
That's a good question.
Cat and dog animal agent of Hollywood.
Is it the owners of the cats and dogs, maybe?
Well, they're the ones that bring you into that agent.
Right.
But you look at photo shots of Siamese and different things all day. This calico right here has been in 4 movies over the last couple years.
Let me tell you about my client, Rover. He's a great guy.
I'm saying I've looked at 46 different Chihuahuas for this Taco Bell commercial, and I'm telling you, this is the Chihuahua. He's barked at me 6 times. Look at those ears. He's got a beautiful little pink tattoo. Come on, guys. Seriously. And I think that would that's a good job to have right there, making money off of something where you really can't be wrong. When we come back, we're going to talk with Pat Dye, legendary Auburn coach, right here in the Sports Drive.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5. I'm Jordan Glass with your Pensacola Sports Update. For your UWF Argos, softball will get the NCAA tournament started in the South Region later on this afternoon. They'll be taking on Spring Hill College. For baseball, they'll get the NCAA tournament started on May 16th. They'll also be in the South Region. Still no word on who they'll be playing, but the minute we find out, we'll let you know right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. As far as your Blue Wahoos, they had a very early 10:35 start to their game on Wednesday, as it was a school game there in Mississippi against the Mississippi Braves, and the Blue Wahoos come out victorious by a final score of 1-0. Coming up next for the Wahoos, it is Game 4 of the 5-game series. It's coming up later on tonight at 6:35. Chris Garagiola will have the call right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. The next time they'll be at home at the friendly confines of Blue Wahoo Stadium, it's coming up May 16th. They'll get started in a 5-game series against the Mobile Bay Bears. I'm Jordan Glass with your Pensacola Sports Update on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Looking Gannon, throws up the middle. At the 40, Derek Brooks 30, Brooks to the 29, he's getting Derek Brooks all the way. Touchdown Tampa Bay, Derek Brooks, the dagger's in. We're going to win the Super Bowl.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket, and this time his name is Bubba.
Pitch on the way. Russell drives one in the air. Deep left center. That's back near the wall. It's got a chance. Grand slam. Grand slam, Addison Russell.
The new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
And Richardson breaks free on the sideline. End zone. How about that? Bama scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And these them Louisiana, Pensacola guys, they looking crazy and all that.
Morris, blocked by the tight end call. That opens up the door. Breaking the coverage tackle. To the pylon. Touchdown.
Really nice effort there by Alfred Morris, extending that ball over the goal line.
Near side ball is that big game. Doug Baldwin's got a first down. Doug Baldwin, 93 yards, now has back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Reggie Evans, and he's going to get an ovation. Guy from Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome back to the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Chad Brilliante with you here alongside Jordan Glass, having some fun with you and enjoying our day. Hope you're enjoying your day as well. A little overcast. I do see that out of the shadows. I thought it was getting dark outside, but it's just clearly it's looking more like the Independence Day movie out there now that I'm seeing it. And that's not a good thing. That's right at that part, not the part where everybody's enjoying time with Will Smith when he's getting back
not the cookouts at the beginning.
No, not the cookouts, none of that Vivica Fox hugging people and dancing. The part where, the building's about to explode. That part right there, that's what it looks like more than likely. And we're going to have Legendary Auburn coach Pat Dye coming up with us. It's always fun. The Auburn coach joins us each and every Thursday to have some fun on the show. At 6:35, we're going to send it over to Chris Garagiola, who I, added a little Italian flair and said, Chris Garagiola earlier. Just, anything sounds good. Yes, thank you. Scott Miller is showing me. Scott, by the way, it's good to see you. And we're seeing this weather pattern that looks really nasty right now, or looks like somebody that gets one of those like street side tacos with a lot of different flavors on it. Joining us now, the legendary Auburn coach who joins us each and every Thursday, kind of make time. Coach, did you guys get any of those cells coming in? We're getting some bad weather.
Well, we got a lot of rain and thunder, but no heavy winds.
Well, it's about to get bad here. We're looking around here. We're sort of in the middle, so we don't get too much visibility of what's happening around us at our studio. But from what we're seeing, and I just saw the weather report, it looks like it's going to be pretty bad.
How wide is it?
Oh, it's pretty wide. It's the size of the it is the size of Alabama pretty much. So this one's moving through right now. It looks like it's gone through from your area right there. Now, you guys I'm looking at where you're at right now. What are you near Jasper at all?
No. Montgomery is whatever comes to my Auburn comes through Montgomery.
Okay, I'm seeing it right there. I'm seeing exactly where you are. Yeah, you are. You guys are getting it. I mean, it's yeah. So it looks pretty bad right now. Yeah, I'm not a meteorologist, but that looks like it's going to be a lot of rain. That's all I can say. Coach,
well, we've had a good rain already.
You okay? How's everything going with the wedding venues right now?
Oh, it's good. Good. We got 3 this week. Next week. 3. Got 3 next week.
How many of them do football theme?
How many weddings from the football team?
No, how many weddings that you see? Because look, we know in Alabama everything is centered around a lot of times on the weekends around college football. How many are football themed?
They get married here when we're playing out of town. and then we have TV set up everywhere. They don't get married. They don't get married when we're playing in town.
No. I went to a wedding in LSU when LSU was playing Alabama that same night, and it was a Catholic wedding, so it was taking a couple extra hours. And I'm telling you what, even the priest, he was like, "All right, we're gonna wrap this thing up because I got a place to be at the bar in a couple hours." So yeah, it's. I know whatever. If you're near Baton Rouge or Tuscaloosa or the Plains of Auburn or Gainesville or Tallahassee and you're trying to do a wedding on a Saturday, good luck getting your grandparents to come.
Well, the people in Alabama, they schedule their whole social life of the year on around football season. Everything depends on whether we've got a game in Thanksgiving, where's the Alabama Auburn game going to be played at. Whatever. No game. It's
Coach.
If they're not, if they're not going to the game, they lock in on television. So.
Well, looking right now, Coach, at Auburn, I know we're not going to get this official, and Gus Malzahn's going to look at everything, but after what we saw in the spring practices, the A-Day game, do you feel in your heart from talking to the players and the coaches and everybody that you've been around as athletic director and coach, do we have any clue, or is there one guy that is ahead of anyone else, like Bo Nix right now for the quarterback position?
Well, I think you probably, if you got down to individuals, some may have a preference, but from where I'm sitting, I would call it just like Coach Malzahn right now. It's anybody's game, and so it's it wouldn't shock me at all. And in fact, I would think unless something significant happens between now and Oregon, one of them just really steps out in front of the other one. Playing 2 of them ain't a bad idea.
Today, I was looking at some of the pictures, and Gus Malzahn was out there helping with the Children of Alabama, one of the great charities right there, and doing so much to help out right there at the only hospital dedicated to health care of children right there and helping out. What was one of your favorite things as a coach? You did so much charitable work and just being around the community as a coach. That's one thing, even before I was watching football, that I heard about you as a coach and an athletic director of really living and breathing being an Auburn Tiger. What was one of your favorite things to do during the offseason?
Well, I participated in so many different things. The Boys and Girls Clubs. I mean, it's just a multitude of stuff, and a lot of it, some of it I gave money to, some of it I just gave time to, and made appearances and helped them raise money. And it's just the right thing to do. I built a house for John Kroll at Big Oak Boys Ranch. John Kroll, I don't understand at Alabama when he played there, but he does a great job with the kids that come there. And so, I mean, I got plenty to. I don't have to be ashamed of what I've done to help people outside of coaching and the way I live.
Well, I remember, Go ahead, Coach. I apologize.
Well, I mean, I believe in America, and American people help each other, and I just try to be a good American, good Alabamian.
What would you say? What would you say if a team? Because when Clemson went there, they went as a team, and college a lot of times they abide by what their coach or what the athletic director or the people are telling them. But today, the Boston Red Sox, my team, being from Boston, went out there, and their manager, Alex Cora, did not show up to the White House. Half of their team did, and half their team didn't. Alex
Now, wait a minute. Now, you're talking about something entirely different. That's a celebration. That ain't helping nobody.
That's true.
What is that? That's. I'm talking about putting your time and sweat and toil and whatever in time, or just giving money and making yourself available. Going and be recognized for something that you've done. That's the least important thing that's going to happen.
That's a good point. It's a very good point right there. Would that be okay with your team when you were at Auburn if they decided not to go?
No, our team would go just like everybody else's does. We'd do the right thing. But as far as helping the community, that don't help the community.
No, it does not.
That helps the president get votes out of Alabama and South Carolina.
Serving them McDonald's and Hardee's. Yeah. No, that's
well, that's what they used to eat anyway. So I mean, that's what they used to.
There's down here. I learned two things down here when I moved here. You better get to Krispy Kreme and Whataburger quick, or that line's going to get big.
Well, I used to eat both of them, and I don't need to eat one of them now. Krispy Kreme's too sweet, and I watch what I eat, and Whataburgers, I don't. I'll stay away from bread. And, I'm just a little below my playing weight in college right now, and feel good every day. But I ain't carrying around 30 extra pounds like I see a lot of folks do.
Well, I'm telling you, and that's true. And my wife, she keeps herself, out of the two of us, she definitely wins every single award for keeping herself in shape and looking good. And I'm telling you, she when she has one of those mornings where she says, "Go get me a dozen chocolate glazed," I know that's a day you be calm and nice to you should be nice every day, but that's definitely a day where you're going to be extra kind.
She's looking to get a good high on sugar. I try to stay away from that sugar. And bread's got sugar in it. And sugar's sugar, But I mean, that's just part of getting old.
Yeah. You told Charles about that? Do you see Chuck and tell him about that?
No, Charles wasn't paying attention to it. Well, I mean, but my doctor has convinced me that the less you eat, the longer you live. And it's what you eat. It's what you eat that affects your stomach. I eat a lot of sauerkraut. If you don't think sauerkraut is good for you, just read about it and get up to date on it. But I get it out of a jar, and I eat the sauerkraut and drink the juice. But they said nothing is really better for your gut bacteria than sauerkraut.
Well, that's what I mean. What I'll try to do is eat about 6 pounds of bacon, and then I get 1 piece of lettuce, and I just tell everybody I eat a healthy BLT right there, you know.
Well, listen, make them cook all the grease out of that bacon. You know, make everybody. First thing I tell them when I order bacon and go somewhere, I tell them crispy bacon. I don't want no floppy bacon.
I agree with
that.
that.
They can get it done.
Who does like that kind of bacon? The other kind? Are there people that?
I don't know.
I don't get it. I don't get that. The undercooked bacon. I've never got that. No, not for me. Right there. Well, I tell you what. If you say anything wrong about Paula Dean here in the South, I learned you will get slapped. You will get so. You got to be careful. She makes a lot of cheesecakes and a lot of things like that. So, I know that.
Well, that's all right. I mean, you know, I'd rather get slapped than I had to eat a piece of something that I ain't supposed to eat. The slap is going upside the head. What I eat's going in my stomach. And what's in your stomach is what kills you. It ain't getting hit from the outside.
Well, Coach, next time you're down here, I know you spoke and you were gracious enough to come
now,
down.
Listen, I like that seafood. Now it's hard, but I can eat enough shrimp and fish and stuff that I don't have to eat outside of my diet when I go down there.
Well, we've got 3 radio hosts here. We got 3 radio hosts in the building right now. If you come down, whenever you're in Perdido or Pensacola, we will take you out to there and take care of any kind of – I still haven't been to that place that has mullet out in there, Perdido. So Jordan, Scott, all of us, we will go down there and we will have fresh mullet with you, and we'll take care of the tab. And
that'd be great.
That would be awesome. It is always great. You know, you too, Coach. It is great to always catch up with you, and I hope this weather doesn't go too crazy.
Good. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Coach Pat Dye right there. He's been saying when he came down here, it wasn't too long ago, Jordan, he spoke at the Greater Chamber, and he's been, like you said, he does do a ton. He's always on the move. He's always going. He's almost 80 years old, and every single day he's out working on his excavator or putting in new lights for the wedding at his venue, or he does, you know, he's just, him and Gene Stallings, over the last 5 years, I've had a chance to interview both of them, and they're both very unique in their ways, meaning they're not the same, but they both have taught so much value, lessons, both great Southern gentlemen, and 2 guys that I've learned so much about, not only the South, but raising families, housework. Look, Gene Stallings 2 months ago told me how to get rid of army worms in my yard. You know, you never know what's going to happen, but between him and Pat, Coach Dye, I have learned and respect the heck out of both those gentlemen. And, man, if I could have a nice, fresh mullet meal with him in Perdido, that would just check one off the list of fun days and good things to do in sports.
No, absolutely. I just have one question, though. Is when he eats that sauerkraut, how many hot dogs are underneath it?
That's right. How many hot dogs? For Joey Chestnut, too many. But I still owe you steak tacos. I thought that's where we were going, so thank God. Why'd I bring that up? Dang it. We're going to go to a break, and now I just cost myself $9.99.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5 is all sports all the time. Talk football year-round with local sports legend Coach K. From quarterbacking the Pensacola High Tigers to coaching the Buffalo Bills, Coach K's life has been all about the game, the teams, the players, and the coaches. Talk football with Coach K at noon on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Beau Rivage is the place to be for basketball championship action. From buzzer beaters to slam dunks, we have everything you need for hoop season. Make every game interesting at Beau Rivage. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
ESPN Radio is taking over ESPN News. You can now watch your favorite radio shows all in one place. From Golic and Wingo. Oh, yeah. To the Dan Levitard Show with Stugotz.
All right, I'm available every day, thanks.
To the Stephen A. Smith Show.
I just don't understand this guy.
To the Will Kane Show.
It's my job to tell the truth.
From morning to night, the best of ESPN Radio is now available on ESPN News.
Remember those summer adventures as a kid? On two wheels. Cutting loose with your buddies, enjoying freedom of an endless summer night. Make new memories this summer at Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. Owning a Harley is easier and affordable than ever. Check out Harley-Davidson of Pensacola's Red Tag Sales Event. Drastic reductions on pre-owned inventory. For Mother's Day, mamas receive fresh flowers. Discover your inner child again with the freedom that owning a Harley brings. Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. Let's ride.
Beau Rivage is the place to be for basketball championship action. From buzzer beaters to slam dunks, we have everything you need for hoop season. Make every game interesting at Beau Rivage. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
And welcome back to the Sports Drive right here, ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. It is 6:24 on this Thursday evening. Thanks again to Pat Dye as gotta go get some fresh mullet with him, man. A fresh mullet is good. I've realized that. Everybody would say, that's one of the bottom feeder kind of fish. Is like, throw it to the scraps. Nah, good fresh mullet. That's the thing of the South, Jordan. You get yourself some good mullet right there. Whew, you just got to make sure to get the bones out, or you will be having a rough day. I found that out for the wrong. Yeah, I was at Nick's Boathouse. They have delicious fresh mullet. They get it from Joe Patty's right next door. But I remember walking in there and went a little too bone crazy on that one right there. That didn't sound right, but that was the mullet. It was just not a good one. Get some cheese grits with it. Overall, you're not touching this one. Good.
No.
Okay,
you went bone crazy.
Yeah,
I'm leaving it at
okay.
that. Yeah.
Overall, that's probably the safest thing. When you're giving me a smile and it's a wink right there, that's probably the safer thing to do right there. Like when Doc Ellis pitched a no-hitter in LSD. It was just the safer thing to do. That, by the way, I always say things that you have been accomplished in sports, everybody like the miracle on ice. Guy hit the lady this year in softball hit for the home run cycle. A one-run homer, a two-run homer, a three-run homer, and a grand slam in the same game, which is like freaky deaky out there for Arkansas. And she did it in 4 innings too. She did it in the bottom. She didn't waste any time. But I gotta say, no matter what anybody says, or no matter what story you tell your kids, because this isn't one of these Aesop's fables where you sit down with your kids. Shel Silverstein's not going to write a book on this, but I'm telling you what, Doc Ellis throwing a no-hitter all 9 innings in baseball, high as a kite on LSD, is the most remarkable thing in the history of sports. And it's not, when I say remarkable, it's not something I'm condoning. But think about it. Most people can't get out of the back alley and cats are attacking them right now and can't get up or haven't seen their family in years or disowned or jumping off a bridge. And this guy went out and threw a no-hitter while he was on it. Yeah, Jordan, you get to touch this one.
You know what? And I'm going to phrase that a little better. But
you're like, oh, great. Now I get to talk about this.
I think the more incredible thing would have been if he would have pitched the no-hitter high like he was with Mr. Met and Blooper from the Atlanta Braves just sitting behind home plate in the backstop, and he's just having to stare that. Yeah, he was,
That's what if somebody would have caught word. I'm getting choked up talking about this story. Obviously,
got a mullet bone.
Yeah, that's right. Let me get that out there. Part of my hair has fallen. But looking at Doc Ellis, if you would have caught wind of this, you could have really messed with him. You know what I'm saying? You could have put some people in hula skirts in the back going like this every pitch, but obviously that did not happen. Let's get to a little Q&A, true or false. In his very first at-bat, Hoyt Wilhelm, at the age of 29, hit a home run. His very first pitch he ever saw at the majors. 21 years he played after that and never once hit a home run.
I'm going to say true.
It is true right there. There you go. Okay. Moving on here to the next one. Sonny Jim Bottomley.
That's false. That's not his name.
This is Sonny Jim Bottomley requested a cow when his fans wanted to give him a retirement present. They obliged, and he named the cow Fielder's Choice and took it to his farm. Sonny Jim Bottomley.
That's got to be true. There's too many wild things about that.
Even my mind, I don't think can go that far right there. That is completely true, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Derek Jeter, in his final season, made $270,000 in his final at-bat.
That's true, isn't it?
That is true, actually. Yeah. It was a big moment right there, and yes, he did. And our final one here, Jackie Mitchell, a 17-year-old female pitcher from the Chattanooga Lookouts, once played for the New York Yankees in an exhibition game and struck out Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig.
I want to say true. I know a female pitcher struck out Babe Ruth, but I don't know if she did Lou Gehrig as well. So I'm going to say true.
I'm going to give you a tip here.
Okay.
I'm tired. We're about to go off air.
Right.
And this is from a direct feed, so I'm just reading these. This is not a true or false game. I'm just actually reading facts of baseball. So you should go with true and correct. That's
you couldn't have told me that in the commercial break and made it just where I'm just like, true. That's true.
The article is 20 bizarre facts you won't believe are true in baseball. The only one I juked was the 16 jungle cat teeth to 7 on Turk Wendell's necklace. It was a true story. I just named too many jungle cat teeth, so I had to create a lot.
See, when you said that, I was sitting here going, are there even that many jungle cats to
There it is. As George Costanza once said, if you believe it, then it's not a lie. Folks, that's all the time we have for today's show. We appreciate you joining us. We're going to send it out to Chris Garagiola, or as we said, Chris Garagioli right there. He's going to forget about it. Wow, he's going to win by like 20 runs. Wahoo's tonight taking on the Mississippi Braves. We wish them the best. 22-11 best record. We'll head it out to Pearl, Mississippi to have some fun out there, and hope you enjoy the game. Jordan, have a great rest of your night.
You too.
Scott, have a good one off camera. Nice wink. Thank you, guys. Have a great rest of your day. I'm Chad Brillante. Thanks for listening and watching the Sports Drive. And as always, God bless.
Wings are now on Beef O'Brady's 2 for $20 deal. Wings?
Wings.
Pick or bang, same buck. Pick a starter plus 2 entrees. Like 10 of Beef's famous wings. Still $20. 2 for $20. Worth every penny.